Hello everyone, this is Brownstone here, and welcome back to the Our Producer channel. In this video, we are going to be touching on one of the most controversial topics of all time regarding Star Wars. In defense of The Last Jedi's Luke Skywalker. Joining me is Mittens, someone who I haven't collabed with before, but is one of our co-hosts I mean. And hello guys, it's your overlord Mittens here. Well, former overlord I should say. I've been overthrown too many times. But the point is, I usually don't collab with this guy, but hey, we're both Last Jedi Luke Skywalker defenders, so might as well. Okay. So yeah, with Luke Skywalker now being the future of Star Wars, thanks to The Mandalorian Season 2's finale's positive reception. And it's abundantly clear that Lucasfilm is going to go with more Luke Skywalker-oriented projects. And that, honestly, is a great thing, because Luke Skywalker is the core of Star Wars. And he is at the core what makes Star Wars. Or we should say. So props to Lucasfilm for doing this. And of course, the Phantom Menace is jumping on the bandwagon and saying this is Luke Skywalker and stuff, the true Luke Skywalker. Well, not exactly. I mean, yes, but that does not make The Last Jedi's Luke Skywalker any less Luke Skywalker. So in this video, we're gonna be defending Rian Johnson's portrayal of Luke Skywalker and how it fits into his overall character. Alright, let's begin. So, if we're to properly fit Luke Skywalker at this point in time with the rest of his character, we have to do a breakdown of the events that occurred after the Return of the Jedi. Now, after the fall of Emperor Palpatine, the Empire continued on to fight and stuff. It was not over after Endor. The Empire was succeeded by a new Emperor counselor to the Empire, and they continued fighting until the Battle of Jakku. They were fighting against the New Republic, which the Rebel Alliance had formed after the Empire had lost much of its territory. And eventually, at the Battle of Jakku, that was the final battle. And the Galactic Concordance was signed that defames the Empire's ability to declare war, reduced it to a mere rump state, and that sort of thing. And that was around the time that that Emperor Palpatine activated his contingency plan, in which many Imperial loyalists fled to the unknown regions, and would eventually form the First Order. Now, as to what Luke Skywalker was doing, well, after the events of the Return of the Jedi, he went to form his own Jedi Order, like in the expanded universe / Legends. However, unlike the EU, he didn't actually succeed in doing it. I mean, the temple lasted for quite some time until Ben Solo's fall to the dark side, and Ben Solo's fall to the dark side is what many people criticize Lucasfilm on. How Luke Skywalker handled the situation. Well. Well, they didn't like how he was portrayed in The Last Jedi because it was not in line with how they viewed the character before. And we're going to explain that. Mittens, take it away. Well, in order to do it, we have to properly understand depression. Like, Luke Skywalker, he basically lost everything. He failed in his mission to restore the Jedi, and after Ben Solo turned to the dark side and became Kylo Ren, and all of his students were killed off, and those that didn't probably became the Knights of Ren. But people don't like how Luke Skywalker was portrayed, but then again, if you had this deep of depression, wouldn't you seclude yourself, shut yourself off from the Force and that sort of thing? It's in line with how real life is. Now, I know you guys go to Star Wars for escapism and stuff, but you can't make it all fantasy. A good story has fantasy elements, but is also grounded in real life in some aspects. So, if we're you guys wanted Luke Skywalker to go Super Saiyan and take on the First Order with a lightsaber, kill Snoke and all the stormtroopers as he stirred the galaxy into rage. Is that what you guys want him to do? Become like a god? That's not really realistic. The best closing for his character was to die off in the Last Jedi. And the way he handled Ben Solo, it was perfectly in line as to how Luke would normally handle it. Brownstone, yeah, it's kind of complicated, but not that complicated. Like, think about it. Your nephew has seen signs of turning to the dark side. Alright, and Luke saw darkness in Ben's future. He saw the rise of new darkness, and you guys may complain that Luke didn't reason with Ben Solo beforehand, but how do we know that? I mean, how do we know that exactly? We don't really, and you haters are going off of speculation and that sort of thing. You guys are probably saying that Luke automatically went to kill Ben Solo, but what if we think about it like this? What if, before that fateful night in the Jedi Temple, what if Luke actually tried to talk to Ben Solo before? And Ben Solo, obviously being stubborn, he would not listen and that sort of thing. Luke saw darkness in Ben Solo's future and knew he had to act. So he went to the Jedi Temple at night, and he wasn't exactly going to kill Ben Solo precisely. He went to probe Ben Solo's mind, and as soon as he saw that he saw that darkness, he tried momentarily to kill Ben Solo. Well, keep in mind, this was for the good of the Jedi Order. His new Jedi Order was a fledgling organization, and it had not really integrated itself in mainstream galactic politics yet. Unlike the Jedi Order of old, which was totally mainstream across the galaxy by the time of the Clone Wars and that sort of thing. Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order was technically still starting out. Now, obviously, he had the Jedi Order for quite some time, like based on the comics and stuff, but it would take a while for it to become mainstream in galactic politics and galactic events and all that. Luke Skywalker needed to ensure the survival of his Jedi Order, and he was acting on pure instinct. And Luke Skywalker, he acts on pure instinct. Like in all the other movies, like he acts with his emotions and that sort of thing. That's what Yoda. That's what Master Yoda was worried about when he was training Luke Skywalker and that sort of thing. Like, he's too attached to his emotion, too old to begin his training and all that. Luke Skywalker had already formed attachments, and I bet you, if Ben Solo did not turn to the dark side, then Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order would become mainstream in galactic politics as it did in the EU. But obviously, Luke never got that chance, as Ben Solo was continued to be manipulated by Snoke. Supreme Leader Snoke, who was an offshoot, probably failed clone of Palpatine by this point. I mean, it's not really made clear as whether Snoke was a failed clone of Palpatine or not. All the hints we get are Palpatine's "I made Snoke." It's not really that quite clear. That's up to fan interpretation, but. Luke Skywalker raised his saber to try and kill Ben Solo, but then he didn't. He had this moment of regret. Like, you guys are acting like he actually did kill Ben Solo, but no. Luke stopped midway because he knew there might be another option, and that is totally like his character. He acts on instinct, but then he comes to his senses. It's sort of like in Return of the Jedi, where he cut off Vader's mechanical hand with his lightsaber in a stroke of anger, But then he realized, oh no, what have I done? It's like that. And obviously, by then, it's too late. Ben Solo wakes up. He sees the lightsaber. Thinks Luke is about to kill him. They get into this lightsaber fight. Ben Solo brings the temple roof crashing down on Luke. And next thing, Luke wakes up, and his entire Jedi Order is in ruins. He realizes he failed. He failed in his mission. And he failed his promise to the Jedi Masters of old to rebuild the Jedi Order. Luke, your mittens? Alright, so after that, he became disillusioned with the Jedi. And that's perfectly that's perfectly in line with this character, simply because of the gravity of the situation. He basically lost everything. He didn't know how he could go on. He felt like a failure, so he went in exile, shut himself off to the Force, went to the planet of Ahch-To to search for the first Jedi Temple, and he came to realize that the Jedi, they'd lost their way, and what mainly ties this in is something a Clone Wars character said, Barriss Offee, in the episode The Wrong Jedi, that sort of thing. She was brought in by Anakin Skywalker, and something she says parodies or mirrors what Luke Skywalker said in The Last Jedi. Like, Barriss Offee says, I did it because I've come to realize what many of you have come to realize, that it is the Jedi that are responsible, that we are responsible for this war, all of us. And my attack on the temple was an attack on what the Jedi had become. An army fighting for the dark side, fallen from the light that we had held so dear. This republic is failing. It's only a matter of time. And that sort of echoes what Luke Skywalker says in The Last Jedi. He says that the Jedi are hypocrites. And I know you guys don't want to believe that, but in this point in time, in the Galactic Republic era, they kind of were. I mean, they claim to fight for the light side, but they were out as Jedi generals, fighting a war instead of keeping the peace and that sort of thing. You know, they go out and serve the Republic and stuff instead of serving themselves, and that goes against the beliefs of the ancient Jedi. Now, it's not like the Jedi haven't fought in wars before, but in this point in time, they lost their way because they were using the Force as a means to serve the Republic instead of serving the greater good, even if it means turning against the Republic. What the Jedi needed to do was realize that what their teachings were inherently hypocritical. They preached pro-life and pro-light side and stuff, but they were out slaughtering enemy armies and that sort of thing. It's kind of complicated in that instance. Brownstone? Right. So Luke Skywalker realized this, and he realized that the only way for the galaxy to heal was that the Jedi, they needed to end, because they were no longer the peacekeepers that they used to be. Now, I'm pretty sure the High Republic books that are coming out and the animated TV shows that High Republic era coming up will further explore the Jedi's role as peacekeepers, and we'll probably do an update video once those things come out so we can have more information on what the Jedi used to be. But the fact is that the Jedi had lost their way and they needed to be reformed to end. Now, obviously, Luke Skywalker was too caught up in his own depression to realize that the Jedi didn't need to end, actually. Like, he thought that the Jedi needed to end, but they didn't need to end. They just needed to be better. I know you guys are saying that's not in line with Luke Skywalker's character, but he was in depression. His nephew turned to the dark side, and he lost everything he cared about. he he felt like he couldn't go on. And it was only after talking with Yoda at the Jedi Temple, in which Yoda used his powers to destroy the sacred Jedi texts and all that, that Luke Skywalker realized that he needed to go help. Now, he couldn't get off the island, so he used his force projection. He did a much needed sacrifice. He sacrificed himself for the cause. He wasn't completely out of his depression yet, but he realized that Rey needed help. The Resistance needed help, that he couldn't just abandon them. So yeah, he did come back. What you guys are forgetting is that he came back as a force projection. And in the Battle of Crate in The Last Jedi, he fought against he did fight against the First Order. He fought against Kylo Ren as a force projection. Last thing Luke Skywalker said was, "See you around, kid." And he faded. And the next thing we know, Luke Skywalker is staring at the Benari sunset, and he fades into the Force. So Luke Skywalker dies, only to come back as a Force ghost in Rise of Skywalker. Now, I think this was the perfect ending for Luke. I think this was everything that I think that Rian Johnson did him justice. Now, many people are going to disagree with that, and you're welcome to. But please consider the points in the video before you make an observation like that, because Luke Skywalker was by far the most powerful Jedi in existence. He thought he could rebuild the Jedi Order, but he failed. He lost everything he cared about, and he couldn't go on. Caught in his depression, he realized that the Jedi were hypocrites and needed to end. However, Rey showed him there was an alternative to that. And Rey showed him that there was more to the Jedi than the hypocrites that they had become. And obviously, at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, Rey is probably going to rebuild the Jedi Order. We don't know what's going to happen then, but what happens then is up to our speculation, because the Skywalker saga is over. Alright, do you agree with my points, Mittens? I do. And do you agree with mine? Yeah? Alright, so it's kind of, Luke Skywalker's story is not as simple as the Phantom Menace want to paint it as. It's very complicated. It's, long-winded, and it has many paths and points in time. And Rian Johnson didn't just make him this to reset the status quo in the original trilogy. He clearly had a purpose. He said Rian Johnson once said in an interview that he grew up with Star Wars, and he always wanted to bring this amazing universe to life. So he did. Not everyone liked The Last Jedi, but it's really, well, a complicated story. Right. So, you may be wondering, but where does The Mandalorian come in? Well, you can say that this is during Luke Skywalker's travels. I think John Campea, in one of his videos, summed it up perfectly. That this was probably during Luke Skywalker's travels across the galaxy, in which he found Grogu, and he went to train him. Now that I don't think that retcons Ben Solo at all as first Padawan. Now it might, but I don't think so, because what many of us like to believe is that Luke Skywalker eventually returns Grogu to his own kind at some point before he takes on Ben Solo as an apprentice. Luke Skywalker is still young by the time of The Mandalorian, and when he takes Ben Solo, he's probably older as we've seen. So he has time to train Grogu and return him to his own kind. After that, then he takes on Ben Solo. So it doesn't really retcon the sequel trilogy in any way. The Phantom Menace would like to paint it as oh, they've saved Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau saved Star Wars. They retconned the sequels. Nope, no, they didn't. The Mandalorian is all part of Luke Skywalker's journey, and Grogu is a small part of that. I don't think there's any evidence pointing to Ben Solo as the first Padawan, but I like to believe that Luke Skywalker trained Grogu at some point, and then returned him to his own kind. And then after a few years of training some apprentices, he took on Ben Solo, and trained him, and then all these things happened, and well, you know the rest. So yeah, defending Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi is a very controversial topic, and you guys are probably gonna be mad at us for covering it, but hey, we're not afraid to state our opinion. Okay, so I think that concludes the video. We basically analyzed Luke Skywalker in all of in all of the Star Wars movies he appeared in, and all Star Wars merchandise and other media and that sort of thing. He's a great character, but the way Rian Johnson handled him, it was perfect. He needed a wake up call. Rey gave him that. Luke realized that the Jedi didn't really need to end. He didn't really say that he apologized. He apologized for that, but it's kind of implied in The Rise of Skywalker that his depression by then is probably long over. He even said in Rise of Skywalker that fear is what led him there. So yeah, before you guys start making accusations that Disney ruined Star Wars, at least try and consider the facts and how it fits into his character. Okay? So, thank you guys for watching. This was a long video, so yeah. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. This is Brownstone signing out, and Mittens signing out. I'm gonna go back to being a bad guy now. Bye!